Hello, I'm Shabna Makrami, and welcome to News in 5. Up to now, we've explored immigration policies and theories from a broad perspective. Now let's transition from theory to practice. The express entry system is Canada's primary method for selecting skilled immigrants who can contribute to the economy. It works by assigning points to candidates based on factors such as age, education, work experience, and language skills. While the system is designed to attract the most qualified individuals, it can be improved by considering a more nuanced approach to evaluating a candidate's potential impact on the Canadian economy and society. Currently, the express entry system prioritizes candidates who are young, highly educated, and proficient in English or French. This focus on individual qualification, while very important, may overlook the broader contributions that immigrants can make. For instance, skilled workers with slightly lower language proficiency or older candidates with extensive work experience might be undervalued, even though they could fill critical labor market gaps and contribute meaningfully to their communities. Let's take a typical example. Someone who's 30 years old will score 95 points for age. If they've studied in Canada and received a bachelor's degree, they will score 112 points for that. If you score between 7 to 7.5 on all modules for IELTS, you will get 115 points for that. For language, 115 points. 1 year of work experience, 35 points. So for the core human capital factor, the applicant will score 357 points. If the individual has a spouse with a bachelor's education, that spouse will receive an additional 8 points. If they have scored the same level in IELTS, for English or French, they will score an additional 18 points. If they also have 1 year of work experience, the spouse will get an additional 5 points, which means the subtotal per the spouse factors will be an additional 31 points. For skills transferability factor, you will receive 15 points if you have siblings and 50 points if you have a job offer supported by an LMIA or an LMIA exemption. So the total under the express entry system for this applicant with a spouse will be 459 points. Current draws are about 500 plus, which means this person, again, who's 30 years old, studied in Canada and obtained a 3-year bachelor's degree, has a good level of English, has 1 year of Canadian work experience, is unlikely that this applicant will receive an invitation, as the points for the Canadian Experience class haven't been that low since 2021. Without the employer applying for a labor market impact assessment, which could add an additional 50 points, the chances for this applicant for permanent residency is quite slim. The challenge with obtaining an LMIA include employer cooperation. Not all employers are willing to go through the LMIA process. Processing times, for example. The LMIA processing with Service Canada takes about 5 months. This does not include the additional month for job posting and the subsequent time needed for obtaining the work permit. As you know, the LMIA process involves 2 steps. First, it is employer-specific LMIA, followed by the employee-specific work permit. Given these factors, the likelihood that the draw will remain at 509 points in the years to come is not promising. So you have a person who has invested minimum 4 years in Canada, has a Canadian education, has Canadian experience, and still would struggle to apply for PR. What do you think the chances of this applicant to go from doing everything right and being legal to quickly becoming illegal? To enhance the express entry system, a more dynamic approach could be implemented, one that recognizes the diverse pathways through which immigrants contribute to Canada. Instead of solely focusing on static criteria like age or language proficiency, the system could incorporate additional factors such as the ability to adapt to the Canadian labor market, community ties, or the specific needs of different regions in Canada. For example, offering more points for Canada who have job offers in industry facing labor shortages or who plan to settle in underpopulated areas could help address regional disparities and support economic growth across the country. This is a crucial consideration. Canada has a clear need to attract people to regions outside major urban centers. Offering points for applicants who are willing to settle outside the GTA could address several issues. It could help alleviate the housing crisis, stimulate job creation in underserved areas, and distribute population growth more evenly across the country. Additionally, the system could better recognize the value of non-economic contributions, such as community engagement or the potential for long-term settlement and integration. By broadening the criteria to include these factors, Canada can ensure that the express entry system not only attracts skilled workers, but also fosters a more inclusive and cohesive society. Incorporating these ideas into the express entry system would not only make it more equitable, but also more effective in meeting Canada's long-term economic and social needs. By shifting from a purely quantitative assessment to a more holistic evaluation, Canada can better harness the full potential of its immigrant population, ensuring that newcomers are not just highly skilled, but also well-positioned to thrive and contribute to the Canadian fabric. Well, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for joining. My name is Shabna Makrami, and this is News in 5.